Damn, Diddy.
The Department of Homeland Security conducting a raid at a house in Holmby Hills, believed to be connected to Sean Combs, the rapper and music executive, perhaps being linked to a sex trafficking investigation. Let's go live to Stu Mundell up in Sky Fox right now for more. Stu, what do we know?
Yeah, I heard her say we're live. Copy, copy, copy.
All right, there you see Sky Fox overhead of this home where, again, we are seeing Department of Homeland Security investigators making a search of this home now. Let's go to Haley Winslow, who's live on the ground right there. Haley, what do we know?
Talk to me, Haley.
Sandra, this is going to turn into a huge scene that is going to be an all-day thing, and it involves, yes, P. Diddy. The home is actually registered to Bad Boy Films, which is a division of Bad Boy Entertainment, basically his company, and the home's registered to that and to his daughter. Now, from Sky Fox, Stu up there, he got some shots of a few people coming out of the home. Those people have been detained. Now, we're trying to still connect the dots. We do have some sources on scene here that we're getting this information from. We were actually the first ones here with about 30 different law enforcement vehicles at least. There are 3 Bearcats on scene here. This just all unfolded, Sandra, I would say, less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up. So we're just down the hill. If you look up the street where Tony is right now to the right, you'll see one of those Bearcats and law enforcement. And on the other side of those bushes, basically, is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of Bad Boy Entertainment. And the home, in particular, is registered not only to Bad Boy Films, but to one of P. Diddy's daughters. Now, we are hearing from law enforcement sources that this involves sex trafficking, but we don't yet know to what extent or the details about that. But you better believe we will be on this all day, keeping you updated with the very latest. For now, reporting live here on the scene at Homeland Hills, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
Haley, thank you. And you can see from that ground shot a very active scene right there, a perimeter put up already.
That's crazy. Now, I don't know if it's the sex trafficking or the shooting, because one article said it was about the studio shooting in Los Angeles. I think we got that.
Hey there, I'm Hallie, and tonight we are starting with that dramatic situation happening as we speak in both L.A. and Miami Beach at the homes of Sean Diddy Combs. You know him as Diddy, formerly Puff Daddy, big-time rapper, big-time producer, big-time superstar, and now...
The fact that they raided 3 houses at the same time, Miami, L.A., and New York, dang.
The feds at his houses in both locations. This is a live look right now. On the left, that's West Coast, that's LA. On the right, that's Miami Beach you're looking at. I want to show you in just the last couple of minutes. In LA, agents holding what look to be guns as they walk into the home, as they enter the home, and you can see some of the apparatus there that they've brought. I want to get to Dana Griffin, who is following this for us now. Why is this happening? What do we know?
Hallie, still, as you mentioned, this is a developing story, so we're learning new details minute by minute. NBC News has confirmed.
Yeah, I know this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but her face is stronger than yo. The bone structure in her face is crazy.
That this is a raid being conducted by Homeland Security, and that the warrant specifically came out of the Southern District of New York. Now, we believe this is tied to sex trafficking allegations. There's an investigation into claims that that the rapper may have been involved in this. So we believe this is connected to that. But obviously, what a split-screen moment here to see investigations not only in Miami, but also Los Angeles, which shows that this was very coordinated and planned. And remember, when it comes to warrants, these aren't things that are just, done haphazardly. This had to be signed by a judge, so this was obviously very methodical. And this is a sprawling home here in California. This is located in the Homeland Hills area, a very wealthy area. That home that we can see from that sky cam is massive, sprawling, and we don't know exactly what they are looking for. It could be something as small as a USB drive, or it could be several boxes of documents that could prove or
look at that house,
prove his guilt or prove his innocence. So. And you mentioned those guns that we saw law enforcement carrying. It sounds like that's pretty routine because they're going into a home. It's a huge home. It's not secured. But from what we have seen on the ground and from local reports, that this was a very easy entry. There was no sort of violence or any sort of skirmish inside the home. So the weapons that you may have seen there are probably just cautionary. Again, this could take several hours considering that these are two separate homes in two different locations.
How much y'all think this even costs the government, costs the feds? It's like sheriffs, Homeland Security, federal agents. They got special units for human trafficking and sex trafficking. Hey, this is a multi-million-dollar bust. So I wonder how much they put into the overall investigation, because this is crazy. Split screen, simultaneous home raids looking for sex trafficking evidence is crazy.
We're waiting to get more details, and we're still trying to figure out where exactly P. Diddy is located. No one has been able to confirm that at this hour.
So that was the question, Dana, is where is he now? I mean, we don't know.
She just said don't nobody know.
He could be anywhere, assuming that he's not here in Los Angeles, because we saw from that chopper video several people that were taken out of the home. Some appear to be in handcuffs, and that is customary when you're doing a raid. They want to...
Diddy, wherever Tupac been hiding at. All right? He got on that mother plane. Diddy got a body here, okay? You ain't gonna find Diddy, bro. Diddy got him a couple of Louis bags full of cash and hit the gas. That nigga, he ain't gonna never land. Diddy in the airplane, he ain't gonna, you can't arrest him in the air. He ain't gonna never land. Diddy is in never. Diddy is real time in never land right now. Because wherever he at in that plane, he ain't gonna never land. Straight up.
Check everyone out, make sure everyone who is who they say they are. We have not seen any images of P. Diddy, which shows that he may not be in his Miami or his Los Angeles home, but I'm sure over the next several minutes and hours, we will get more details. Hallie?
Dana, in just the last maybe 2 minutes as you were speaking, I want to say even 60 seconds. And again, this is breaking news. I'm going to give you a beat to look at your phone, because we are getting in now a statement attributable to Homeland Security Investigations, HSI in New York. And in this statement, and I'm putting it up on screen because this is the first bit of sort of on-the-record information here, that HSI New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available. And that's key, Dana, as you know, because as we've been talking about, information is not something we have a lot of at this moment. Do we know if there's any news conference set, any kind of opportunity that we might get for our teams on the ground there to question some of these investigators, or is that still TBD?
That's still TBD. We've got a lot of our teams working to try to get that information. But as you can see, they put out a statement, but there was not a lot of details issued in that statement. So that tells us a lot of information of what they are keeping kind of closed-lipped at this point. So, you know, again, we have no idea what they're bringing out. We may get a hint as we start seeing bags or boxes brought out as far as how much stuff they could be looking for. But when it comes to these sort of raids, they have to look for something very specific. They don't just go into a home and just take out any and everything that looks interesting. So there's obviously something specific that they are looking for in both of these homes, and we may find out what that is, or we possibly could not. So obviously we'll be following this very closely.
Okay. Hallie? Dana, I'm going to let you back to the reporting that I know you and the teams out west are doing. Thank you so much. We'll be following this, obviously, over the course of the next couple of hours here.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.
Like, seriously, because this is crazy.
If you've been in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app.
Come on. You know we got to cut this out.
Federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs. Let's bring in CNN security correspondent Josh Campbell and CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson. Josh, let me start with you. What do these raids by federal agents in multiple locations tell you about the seriousness of this investigation?
Yeah, Wolf, a very significant development here, seeing this law enforcement action taking place. I'll point out, just to be clear at the outset, we don't know that Sean Diddy Combs himself is the subject or target of a federal investigation. So it's just worth pointing that out at this hour. But what we do know is that two properties associated with him, we saw the feds descend on those properties. We saw on aerial footage, federal agents both here in the Los Angeles area as well as in Miami at those residences. Now, the Department of Homeland Security, their what's called HSI, Homeland Security Investigation, Investigations gave CNN a statement. I'll read you part of that when asked about what this activity is. They say that earlier today, HSI New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. That is it, confirming that they are conducting what they're deeming law enforcement action, which could indicate search warrants being conducted there, could indicate arrests being conducted. We just don't know at this hour specifically what that law enforcement action is. It is worth pointing out, though, that Combs himself obviously has faced significant legal woes in recent months. I'll give you just the highlights of what actually occurred. In November, he was sued for rape and abuse by a former partner. That lawsuit was then settled very quickly. But in December, he faced sexual assault allegations in a complaint filed in the Southern District of New York. The suit was brought by a woman referred to as Jane Doe, who said that she was 17 at the time when these allegations took place back in 2003. He was accused of sex trafficking and gang rape, among other allegations, also in that suit naming 2 of his associates. Of course, Combs denied any wrongdoing there. And then just last month, a former employee of Combs filed a suit also in the state of New York, accusing him of sexual assault, of sexual harassment, and, quote, grooming. That former employee stated that he had worked for Combs between 2022 and 2023. Among those allegations, this former employee, a male employee, said that Combs did not compensate him for his music production work and forced him to procure and interact with sex workers, threatened him with serving alcoholic beverages laced with drugs to guests at parties at Combs' home. And then Combs' son, Justin Combs, was also accused of soliciting prostitutes and underage girls at his father's homes. Again, the Combs have denied any wrongdoing, but just a series of allegations that we've seen taking place. Final point, Wolf, I'll note is that while we don't know the specific allegations or why the feds are at these residences, it is worth pointing out the agency that is conducting this law enforcement activity. It's not the FBI, it's not the DEA or the ATF. This is HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. For those unfamiliar, this is an agency that has long been the forefront, specifically at human trafficking investigations. So although we don't have the specifics yet, we're starting to we can glean just based on which agency has the lead, the direction this might go. But again, we don't yet know that Combs himself was the target of the investigation, Wolf. We do know that at the end of this hour that federal agents were at 2 of his homes, both here in Los Angeles and in Florida, Wolf.
Yeah, important points. And Joey Jackson, now let me repeat, we don't know if Sean Diddy Combs himself is under investigation, but clearly, Joey, it's not good if your homes are actually being raided.
No, it's not, Wolf. And I think, whatever conclusions can be drawn remain to be seen, right? There's not an indictment that we're talking about. That means that we're not speaking of a grand jury having rendered a conclusion, not as to guilt. That's not what grand jurors do, but as to reason to believe that a crime was committed and he committed them. Having said that, whenever you have a raid and an investigation, these things need to be really predicated upon, right? The precursor for this to happen would be some probable cause. What is that probable cause? We don't know. But let's go back to what Josh Campbell talked about, which are those various lawsuits. Now, lawsuits are civil actions in nature. They're not criminal at all. But what they do is they give authorities some guidelines and guideposts with respect to alleged conduct that was engaged in, with regard to who it was engaged in, what activities there were, what it involved. And so that, if there's an investigation, could serve as a source of plentiful information. That information could be further investigated, right, by certainly this Homeland Security agency. And as a result of that, they can work with their local law enforcement partners. What does that mean? It means that they, collectively, law enforcement, try to determine whether there's reason to believe that crimes were committed and, were those crimes carried out and associated in any way we don't know, with Sean Combs. And so that remains to be seen. But before authorities, Wolf, can get into the home or property of anyone, you have to establish some firm basis to do that. And that is what at least we can conclude, that they had reason to believe that there were crimes involving sex trafficking, apparently, and that these areas potentially can give more information with respect to the specifics. And I think they would be looking for computer devices and other devices which would seem to indicate or give information as to whether there was any criminality very early in the process. But certainly we know that these have been carried out, and we'll see what, if any, information is gleaned to be suggestive of any criminality.
Very interesting. Josh, let me get back to you. You know the FBI very well. Under what circumstances would raids like these be conducted?
Well, this would require, if it is indeed a search that's being conducted, it would require federal officers, in this case with Homeland Security investigations, going to a judge and seeking a warrant, indicating that we believe that evidence of a crime could be located in these residences. And then this third party, an independent judge, has to approve that warrant. And then you see take place what's happening now on our screen. I particularly want to focus on, you see that large RV-looking vehicle there. This is the mobile command post that federal agencies will send whenever they're going to be somewhere, likely for a long time. I mean, if you look at these residences, we're talking about very large estates. And so, as Joey was mentioning, something as simple as a thumb drive or anywhere where electronic media could be stored, if it's on that warrant, authorities can search that residence top to bottom, looking for any type of device, any type of storage mechanism that fits within the four corners of that search warrant. Now, again, I'll caution, we don't know specifically why they were there. It does tell us, I think, that, you know, just because you see that large posture of all of these federal vehicles that are there, including this mobile command post, this was likely not something as simple as an arrest where you show up and you find a person that you're seeking, but likely more along the lines of a search warrant, which falls in line with what HSI told us in that statement when they say law enforcement actions. That's something that we often hear from federal agents as a euphemism for conducting some type of search. But again, both of these residences, both where I am here in LA, it's just a few miles here from the CNN LA bureau where this search is taking place. Also in Miami, you see this large cadre of federal agencies descending on those homes. Again, the big question now, what are they looking for? We're waiting for specifics on that as this search continues.
And Joey, video also shows heavily armed agents entering Diddy's home. How unusual is that?
So it's not unusual. I mean, I think that what law enforcement does is certainly they want to be protective of themselves, potentially to deter any type of activity that could occur of a criminal variety. Not that there would be any, but you never know. And so as a result of that, once they're armed, not only armed literally, but armed with respect to a warrant, that would suggest that they have reason to be there, that there's criminality that would be afoot, potentially, they go, law enforcement does, and they make sure that the area is secure such that they can get any information from that warrant so that they can continue to investigate. Very important to note, Wolf, that these are
all these details, the chain of command and the executive ladder that this, just even those search warrants took to get is damn near nail in the coffin enough.
Investigative stages. Warrants are typical in any type of investigation, right? This is the United States of America. Everyone has rights, but you don't get into someone's home without establishing that there may be some what we call indicia of criminality. Law enforcement will evaluate whatever they find in connection with this search. And if that search bears fruit with respect to any potential criminality on any computer devices, any cell phone devices, any, thumb drives or anything else, then they will connect the dots. And if it's appropriate, they'll move to the next level. And that could lead to something more serious. Again, all speculation at this point, but we know now that they certainly had enough information to be in California and Miami. What stems from that remains to be seen.
All right, Joey Jackson, Josh Campbell, to both of you, thank you very, very much. All right, Joey Jackson, Josh Campbell.
Let's start with the fact that, just like we heard and we already know, a home search warrant is one of the hardest search warrants, one of the hardest warrants to get. Only thing harder than a home search warrant is a wiretap. For them to have search warrants on 2 to 3 residents, that means somebody is telling. That means somebody is giving current information and somebody is feeding the feds credible, detrimental evidence that they need to make a speedy, hasty plan of action and get in there and get it before it gets deleted, destroyed, terminated, so forth and so on. Do I think Diddy got something laying around that could be used? Yeah. And I think it's at that crib in New York. That's why he got up out of there. And Diddy connected, but I think he's most connected in New York. So if it's an investigation or if they're going to hit New York next, somebody hit the phone like, yo, you need to get up here and get rid of everything. This also can be turned into a RICO case if they can prove that people in the Bad Boy organization, which they already have, when they say the gang rape thing and all of that, that's enough. If you could prove that you had drivers, you had people who want to go get the girls, you had people in your staff or other people hiring the sex workers and so forth and so on, and you use your power, your money, your position, to coerce and make these actions happen, it's a wrap. Call Rico. And if it's a possibility that the feds think they may lose or may not be able to open and shut it with just it being, you know, the rape allegations, the shooting allegations, Homeland Security is crazy, okay? They particularly handle human trafficking, sex trafficking. That's above the feds, okay? Homeland Security is who they had looking for the Taliban and bin Laden. Let's just put it out there. That's who. So for them to be on Diddy case is crazy. I'm going to tell you what Diddy at. Never land. Because he in that plane, and it ain't going to never land. It's your boy Hustle Simmons, man. We on the road to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Make sure y'all hit that like, share, comment, subscribe button. Ding the notification bell so every time we drop it, you got it. It's your boy Hustle Simmons, a.k.a. Young Hirsch, a.k.a. Honey Hirsch, a.k.a. your baby mama's favorite baby daddy. This is Truth Be Told. I am the dude on the tube with the news you can use. Until next time, no Diddy. Damn, Diddy.